I'm just eternally grateful to have had this opportunity here. So seriously, thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart. And I will still be here another month. So if you guys want to fight a little bit more, we have 4 more weeks.
So that is Meghan McCain responding on the show this morning to news that broke this morning, which is that she is leaving The View after nearly 4 years on the ABC daytime show. Her last day will be at the end of the show's season later this summer. Why are we covering this? Well, The View is, for better or for worse, let's do a poll. Like the biggest news show that's not Fox and Friends, we've decided that this is going to be the most important thing in political discussion, and I guess it is. So she has been a big part of it for close to half a decade, and she's now going to be transitioning away after serving as the second longest running conservative co-host on the program, following Elizabeth Hasselbeck, who was on for 10 years. So it's not a close second necessarily, but she's gonna be leaving. Adrienne, what do you think?
Well, I think this is an upgrade. For the past 4 years, she has been essentially weaponizing and issuing these Karen-esque and Karen-adjacent commentary. And the fact is that because she's on the View and so many people watch it, she gets a lot of attention and continues to essentially promulgate this ideology that is problematic for our nation. And so seeing her go away would be awesome. But of course, I'm sure she's not necessarily going to go away, but at least she will not be on the ABC network and The View, reaching all sorts of housewives across the nation.
I agree. I think 2 of the easiest predictions are, 1, she's doing this because she has a different show lined up. I don't know who would be giving it to her, but I'm sure they are. And 2, either she will claim, or at the very least, some will claim that she's been canceled, even though she's saying she's choosing to leave. And the reason she's doing it, she doesn't want to move back to New York City because she went to DC during the pandemic to live with her husband, who's a Fox News guy, Ben Dominic, who's utter trash. Like, he is the worst, but they're a happy couple or whatever, which says all you need to know. She was not canceled. She was not pushed out. She should have been, because she's the worst, but she wasn't. They're still gonna claim that they actually were. So look, I thought about like pulling like her worst comments, her worst quotes. The thing is, it's virtually everything. She is fundamentally, above all else, like as Adrienne pointed out, she's very much a form of a Karen. That is definitely true. She's entitled based on her family history. She's so sure of herself without the experience or the knowledge to justify it. She's just fiercely ignorant and very happy about it. And I don't want to play a bunch of those, but I do want to play one. This is something we showed, I guess it was like a month or 2 ago, and I thought it was funny. And it had to do with the split, the royal split with Meghan Markle and the royal family. I just love this video. So this is how we're gonna send her away.
The American experiment is the way to go. And if we have 2 American women, Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey, who are single-handedly finishing what George Washington and our revolutionary counterparts did, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I just love that. Like, I don't agree with Whoopi on a lot politically anymore, but yeah, that was a good response to that, I thought.
Yeah, it's like, what can you say? The fact that this woman is trying to analogize Oprah and Meghan Markle with George Washington, get out of here. Like, it just, man, she does represent a demographic though. There's no question. Meghan McCain's are out there. They are alive and well. I know a few of them, and God help us.
Yeah. And I will throw out, I have 1 or 2 more comments to say about her. But first of all, we did a little bit of reading from Variety, which covered this. So they talked about her this way. McCain has described herself as a Republican with liberal views on many social issues. Okay, maybe that's debatable. She is a fierce advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. I'll leave it to them to decide whether she is or not. But they say, and has recently dedicated much of her airtime to the staggering rise in anti-Semitism around the globe as one of the few mainstream media figures to prioritize the topic. And no offense to the writer from Variety, I don't know this person, but what the hell, seriously? That's how you describe. Adrienne, feel free.
No, that sold their soul. Like, that was some, Meghan's PR agent wrote that, because God help, that's just no. Yeah.
She, first of all, it's not dead, it's like prioritizing it by trying to claim that any comment you don't like is anti-Semitic. And in particular, when it's a woman of color that says it, just weirdly, she always thinks that what they say is anti-Semitic. And then literally on the show, like 2 weeks ago, was when Marjorie Green said that the vaccine thing is the same as the Yellow Star. It's like the Holocaust. She was like, this isn't worth commenting on. Why are we talking about this? That a congresswoman pretended that people getting the vaccine is like the Holocaust. To her, this vigorous defender against anti-Semitism didn't think that was worth talking about in the hot topics portion of The View. But no, forget about all that. Fierce advocate, that's how she should be remembered. No, how she should be remembered is she was an ignorant person. That's why she was on the show. It got great ratings or whatever. That's why. It didn't get great ratings because she was such a great example of conservative intellectualism that she brought in a bunch of conservatives. Has anyone ever claimed that? That more conservatives watch the show because they just want to see her provide a vigorous defense of conservatism? No, she was brought on to give dumb points, a really stupid version of republicanism that doesn't like Trump, which they appreciated, so that libs could watch it and watch her make a fool out of herself. That's all it is. And look, to some extent, I feel a little bit bad for her, but she's being paid very well for it. That is what it was. She needs to accept that. And wherever she's being brought in, if it's not to fill that role, it's not gonna work. You can't have her do a serious conservative show. Nobody wants that. There's no market for that. It is just for her to get dunked on by Behar and by Whoopi and stuff like that. There was a market for that, and she's now opting out of it.
Well, see, I actually think that there is entirely a market for her because a lot of these Republican pundits, what they do is just pull their idea of facts out of midair or out of a different orifice. And they purport that they're truth. And so she does that extremely well. It's just she clearly really doesn't actually know the underlying facts. So she isn't lying to herself as much as she's just making things up. And so I think that is where her intellectual rigor doesn't necessarily match up with other pundits. But gosh, I think she may do just fine out there.
But she is anti-Trump. Like I don't disagree with you that the average pundit is really stupid. Sean Hannity is a legitimately stupid person. I think that the people claiming that Tucker Carlson is like super clever, savvy. Like no, I guess he got that it was time to be explicitly white supremacist. That like in the past it had been difficult, but so he's got that savvy. But I don't think that she gives a particularly good version of those points, and she's anti-Trump on top of it, which is gonna, I think, hurt her quite a bit with most Republicans. I don't know. Final question to you. Who do you think should replace her? Do you have any preference?
Yikes. I don't necessarily have any preference, but I wouldn't be surprised if the individual is white and blonde because they want to hit on demographics and the visual is very important. I don't find ABC necessarily to be that truly diverse of a network. And so I know whoever they're gonna put there, it's gonna be for ratings, not necessarily ideologies.
I think that is certainly the case.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.